sorry I missed out on posting last night. I was stuck on the road traveling for work. I drive thousands of miles a year for my job, and sometimes, like yesterday, I drove about 600 miles for one investigation. While the driving is long and sometimes very daunting, there are some highlights. I get to see some amazing sunrises, and the scenery observed at times can be absolutely breathtaking. Yesterday was the longest I've had to travel so far, but the day was not wasted, as it did provide an interesting topic for today, which is aggressive drivers. Aggressive driving and road rage are phenomena as old as the automobile itself, yet their psychological underpinnings speak to deeper currents within human behavior, namely status, dominance, and the assertion of control. Among the most disconcerting encounters on the road is the retaliatory driver, the person who, upon being passed, seeks to reassert superiority by tailgating, speeding past, and purposefully slowing down in front of a motorist they perceive as a challenger. Today we're going to take a look at the psychology behind such behavior, its roots in human social dynamics, and strategies for handling these situations safely and effectively. Aggressive driving encompasses a spectrum of behaviors: speeding, tailgating, abrupt lane changes, and using one's vehicle as a tool of intimidation. Road rage, its more intense cousin, introduces overt hostility, yelling, obscene gestures, and, in extreme cases, physical altercations. While these behaviors may appear impulsive, they often arise from a confluence of psychological factors. The road is a social microcosm, a stage upon which drivers enact roles, experience perceived slights, and jostle for position. Psychologists note several key elements. Anonymity. Enclosed in a vehicle, drivers feel insulated from the social consequences of their actions. This de-individuation can lower inhibitions, leading to behaviors like shouting or unsafe maneuvers, which they might never attempt face-to-face. Territoriality. Many drivers perceive their car and the immediate space around it as an extension of themselves, a personal bubble to be defended against perceived intruders. Status and hierarchy. On the road, overtaking another driver can be interpreted as a challenge to dominance. For some, being passed is not just an event, it is in fact a slight to be avenged. Consider the scenario. You pass another vehicle safely, only to have that driver speed up, overtake you, and then slow down as if to reestablish control. This is textbook dominance behavior, asserting one's alpha position on the roadway. Social psychologists link these responses to several motives. Perceived threat to status. Being overtaken can be seen consciously or subconsciously as a threat to a driver's status or control over the immediate environment. Desire for retribution. Retaliatory driving is a way to punish the other motorist for the perceived slight. Assertion of authority. By passing and slowing down, the aggressive driver signals their control, forcibly dictating the pace and reaffirming their dominance in the social order of the highway. Neuroscientific research reveals that these behaviors are often accompanied by surges in adrenaline and cortisol, the hormones associated with the fight or flight response. In some, traits like impulsivity, competitiveness, and low frustration tolerance further amplify these reactions. Confronting a driver intent on engaging in a power struggle can be both frightening and dangerous. Fortunately, behavioral psychology offers clear strategies for de-escalation and self-protection. The most powerful tool is non-engagement. Do not make eye contact, gesture, or otherwise acknowledge the aggressive behavior. Responding, whether with a gesture, a glare, or your own acceleration, just fuels the sense of conflict. One of the simplest, most effective responses is to pull over safely and wait. By stopping for just 1 minute, you allow the aggressive driver to move far ahead, removing yourself from their sphere of influence. At highway speeds, for example, 60 miles per hour, a vehicle travels 1 mile per minute. If you pull over for a 60-second pause, you create a buffer of at least 1 mile between you and the offending driver. This distance is usually sufficient to prevent further interaction. Even at lower speeds, the distance quickly accumulates, giving you both time and space to recalibrate your emotional state and avoid further escalation. Remember, accepting the invitation to a dominance contest on the road rarely ends well. By disengaging, you not only avoid danger, you also refuse to validate the aggressive driver's narrative. It is natural to feel angry, slighted, or resentful. But safety must trump pride. Allowing someone else's actions to dictate your own risks, especially when lives are at stake, serves no one. Aggressive driving and road rage, particularly dominance-seeking and retaliatory behaviors, reflect our universal desire for status, control, and recognition transposed onto the highways. By recognizing these patterns, we can better understand our own impulses, anticipate the actions of others, and respond with strategies that prioritize safety and peace of mind. I am the one who will pull over and count to 60. I call this my control reset. I will admit wholeheartedly that being able to stop is difficult, as your own humanity will attempt to engage and fight back. However, I feel the one with the control, the true alpha, is the one who takes the control away from the other person and puts it right back into their own hands. I pulled over yesterday, and when I started up after 1 minute, I never saw that driver again. I was able to smile and enjoy the rest of my drive home, which for me was the real win. There are just some scenarios where that 1 minute saves your time, effort, and further annoyance. In the end, refusing to play the alpha game, even if it means pulling over for a minute and letting someone else speed ahead, is not weakness on your part. This is absolutely wisdom. This doesn't just fall into driving either. This rule can be used for anything in life. 1 minute is all it takes to reset the stage and find a new direction for your thoughts. The true mark of control is not asserting dominance over others, but being able to assert it over oneself.